Are you in a dream or are you actually listening to Nerdazons? Okay, so we're back here for the next episode and we are comparing Total Recall the original with Total Recall the remake. This was your idea.
Yes.
This one.
And I'm heaps excited because this is one of my all-time favourites, and growing up I had the biggest crush on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think everyone did.
Really? One of my friends was like, don't admit that. I'm like, but... because of the fact that True Lies is one of my ultimate favourite movies. I love that movie. And, like, boy, like, Arnie in that movie, whoa, like, yeah. So I was like, why not do a good old Arnie classic?
I did like this one, the classic.
Oh, I was going to say the remake.
I'm going to admit, and I haven't admitted this to you yet, it was the hardest film that I've had to watch for this podcast. It took me 3 different nights to finish it.
It took me about that time as well.
Because, like, okay, I think the only other movie that it only took me 2 sittings to finish was the second film we ever did, the Tower one.
What is that movie? Yes.
It had Tom Hiddleston in it. Either way, that one took me only 2 sittings, but this one, holy cow, it took me 3 goes just to finish it. And I think I remember saying to my partner, I'm like, I'm not going to finish this. It's like, you have to. And I'm like, fine, I'll go back and watch it. That was, we'll get into that.
Yes. You're talking about High Rise.
That's it.
I really liked that movie.
I knew you did.
Okay.
I don't judge you for it.
Thanks. All right. So
let's start with the original.
Jump into it. All right.
That one was done in 1990.
1990. And for those of you who haven't seen it before, when a man goes for a virtual vacation, memories of the planet Mars, an unexpected, harrowing series of events forces him to go to the planet for real. Or does he?
I love the sci-fi theme in this one. Like, I just think it was simple, but it was scary at the same time.
Yes. And I love the ending that you're like, did he end up there? Did he not end up there? What's going on? Yeah,
like, because it does always play with your mind a little bit to think, oh no, did it actually happen? But I'll start from the beginning because my notes I do as I watch it.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the intro, it almost looks like Stranger Things?
Oh, no, I put notes here saying that it's so 90s to have a really long intro.
But I love that.
Yeah.
And the 80s and 70s and as you go back. But they did the red on black, which Stranger Things did. And the whole time I just kept thinking, oh my God, did Stranger Things rip this off from here?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe as I was watching.
One of my first notes is it's so 90s to have such a long beginning with no dialogue, and Arnie is such a babe.
One of my notes is it's definitely the height of his career. That's for sure. It was... There's just something I love about the 80s films or even 70s and early 90s, just the colors, the intro, that red wash.
Yeah.
I love that in films, and I feel like I know that they've improved with cameras and techniques and things like that, but I don't know, it's just like a classic thing that
But it's so hokey, but it's so good to be hokey.
Yes.
But I also put down that, like, there is so much chemistry between Sharon Stone and Arnold in the beginning. You're like, you could believe that they were married.
That was one of my points on the second one, which I'll get to, like...
no chemistry.
I'll get to it when we start the second one.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it definitely was with them. Like, you could... like, but from the get-go, you could see there was a hidden agenda with her facial expressions.
Yes, you knew not to trust her.
Yeah. Because, like, the looks on her faces and stuff made it easy to sort of think, oh, is there more to this?
Yes, but I love that there were so many one-liners as well, like, consider this a divorce. Bang.
Yeah, that's like such a, like, 90s thing.
Yeah. And one of my other notes is that the baby is so creepy, the god in the belly.
Yeah, yes.
Like, oh, go away.
But again, it's the same with one of my all-time favorite movies is Nightmare on Elm Street, and I know that was the 80s, but it's the way that they create, like, they didn't use CGI, so they had to build these things, and it just looks creepy and gross, but it just looks cool. I love it.
I've got here that it is rated R, and that it is directed by Paul Verhoeven, who's best known for the RoboCop and Starship Troopers.
Again, good movies.
Again, awesome movies.
Yeah.
So I freaking love this movie.
Yeah, the concept of buying memories instead of actual holidays is pretty interesting and scary all at once.
Yeah.
Like, to think that holidays are just going to get that expensive that you have to buy fake holiday memories.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good idea. And then I also love the idea of how far they capitalize everything, to the point that they've capitalized air. And it's a scary thing because that is something everybody needs.
Yeah.
And I it's scary. Not that it's happened in real life, but it's a scary thought to think, oh my gosh, what if it gets to that point? And I found that more scary than I did the other one.
Yeah.
We'll get to that as to what that theme was.
One of my favorite bits is when they're on Mars and that they're running out of air and like their eyes are popping out. They're like, "Arr!"
Yeah, it looks so funny. But actually, one of my favorite scenes, again, because I just love the like classic way they do it, was when he pulled the chip out of his head.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
in the neck.
Yeah, and then his face just gets massive and this big freaking thing comes out of his head.
Or when he's the old lady, the lady at the airport.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Yes, yeah, that was funny. I wasn't expecting it to be him, to be honest, under that.
Have you not seen it before?
I had seen up to a certain point and then I forgot the ending. And because, like, remember how I told you I don't think I'd seen it? Well, I lied. I had seen it, but I don't remember the ending. So it must have been a long time ago that I had watched it.
Like, it's an old film, but it's still one of my all-time favorites.
One thing you do get from this is you do get a very Big Brother Truman Show vibe from it, especially with him, how they're watching everyone and like watching him and his every move. Even the fact that they put a fake wife in there just to watch him, it's just a very...
I know. Getting back to it, I like the fact that Melina...
Yes.
You feel like that they were lovers or dating before. Like, obviously, they were, but when you first meet, you kind of get that.
Yeah. And you get like, I don't know, I feel like when he sat in the chair and when he specified the whole...
athletic.
Yeah, and I think she got it, like the fiery attitude, she had that. Whereas when we get to the second one, I have points on that as well. But I think she executed that very well because it did strike it very, I don't know, I think she just executed what he wanted in a girl and it almost made you think, is it fake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But even like with the mutants and stuff, I like the idea that they were there and that they were creepy, but they were still, people, versus the second one where they're not part of that.
The second one is... I have so many notes on the second one, more than I do of this one. Yeah. So I reckon we can pretty much...
move on?
I know we've just been very short, but all in all, this was a good film. It had a great storyline. Yes. It was a good sci-fi, yet almost apocalyptic future and a scary thought of capitalization, and just pretty much on human life.
I don't believe that it needed a remake.
I don't think so either. I think if they did remake it, they should have stuck with the original story, which we'll jump to the next one.
Wait, what? How many stars do you give it, or how many reels?
We're doing it out of 5, right?
Yeah.
I would give this a 4, maybe a 4.5.
I'm going 3.5 because some of the graphics and stuff don't age well, and instead of being scared, I giggled.
That is true, but I just think the storyline was simple. It wasn't... It was all you needed to sort of feel the fear in it as well. Yes.
But also, what do you reckon it got on Rotten Tomatoes? Even though you can see my notes just here.
Yeah. Before I saw your notes, I probably would have said it got around... If it was done this year, like if someone had rated it this year, I would have said they would have rated it around 73. But I can see your notes and I know I'm happy that it's a bit higher.
Yeah, it's got 82%.
Yeah.
So
I think the graphics is what will bring it down as time goes on. But I don't think you could ever do a better storyline to this.
No, and 10 out of 10 for the cast as well.
Yeah. And we will come back to some notes I had about this first one in comparison to the next one, but I think we need to start the next one in order for us to do the proper comparison.
Yes. All right, so we're going to do Total Recall, rated PG-13, from 2012. Total Recall was directed by Les Wiseman, who also directed the Underworld franchise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, which I like.
All right, so this is a factory worker, Douglas Quaid, begins to suspect that he is a spy after visiting Recall, provides the clients with implanted fake memories of a life that they would have liked to have led. Everything goes wrong when he finds himself on the run.
Yeah, yeah. So
that's like basically it.
It's pretty much the same, but we'll start play by play as the film would go. So firstly, I did not get the Big Brother vibe.
But also, the first, 10 minutes, it is literally word for word for the old one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, if you're going to remake...
Except they changed... Okay, so the main changes in this one is there was, a nuclear disaster, and there's only 2 inhabitable areas in the world, the UK and straight through the centre of the Earth to the other side, and they're fighting over pretty much territory to fit the population.
It's got nothing to do with Mars.
Yep, and it doesn't even have the whole capitalization.
No.
The threat in this one is a robotic army. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Which we've seen so many of them, those type of movies. There's no need for another one. I think the air idea was so original in the first one that they should have it was so simple and they should have stuck with it.
My first notes on this one is, why would you remake a classic? Nothing beats the OG Total Recall, even if it is hokey and doesn't hold up as well as you think. At least with the original, there was chemistry between the main characters.
Yeah. That was another big note I had. Okay, so Kate Beckinsale in the original, I like her. I always did in a lot of her movies. However, she didn't have the looks that Sharon Stone had, so it gave you that hidden suspicion, or that she had that sort of anger glare, and whereas this, she just played the role too well. That made you think, okay, I don't see how you could be that bad character yet. She just didn't have those hidden intentions in the beginning, which was a good thing, I think, in the original.
Yes. Also, I didn't realise, but when Douglas Quaid is being put under, the guy injecting him, did you notice that at all?
Yeah, it was
John Cho.
Yeah, Harold from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow.
That scene actually really pissed me off.
Oh, yeah. Hundo P.
Because in the original, he did go under, and that played with your mind later, thinking, hang on, he did actually get injected and go under, because he was sort of semi-unconscious when they came into the room, whereas this one, he didn't even go under before he said, you lied, you said this didn't happen, so straight away he never went under.
Yeah.
So it's not in his mind. They ruined one of the biggest...
plot twists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, and even with Jessica Biel.
She didn't have the vibe that Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other girl had.
No, and the fact that were they meant to be dating or lovers or anything like that beforehand?
Yeah.
With the original, you could get that they were obviously together beforehand and things like that. This one, they had zero chemistry. I literally didn't care if any of them died.
Yeah, I agree. Again on the vibes, chemistry vibes, even in the original when Arnold Schwarzenegger was at work and he was talking with his mate about Mars, and then he's like, oh, just forget about it. And when he would go back to it, he would keep an eye on him, and you saw the look that he was being watched by even his friend. You didn't get that when they were sitting on the train to go through the core. His friend, he just shrugged it off too easily, and it's
but also
you're not playing to that
exactly
theme.
And the fight scenes, they
were too long,
choreographed. I get, obviously they are choreographed, their movies, but this one was clearly, you could tell that they were working,
it was for action. It was that was one thing when I walked out, the scene where he first when Kate Beckinsale first sort of attacks him, that scene went way too long when he was running through the streets. Secondly, I liked in the original that there was only an elite team of 5 people chasing him.
Yeah.
This one had hundreds. When he was running through the streets of a really tight city where people could barely walk through the stairwells because it was so packed and cramped.
Yeah.
How were there cops everywhere where he was jumping literally across buildings to get further around? How were there people there all the time? I thought that was dumb.
But also the phone where she had to put it in her hand and stuff, that just looked really dumb.
Yeah.
They could have done something a lot better.
Yeah.
And you could tell she ended up putting her hand away but still talking on the phone, and I'm like, no bro. And then when she put it on the glass, I'm just like, you're trying to
I
have
thought
like
when
the
they,
90s
I did actually think
feel.
when they put it on the glass was cool. But I don't like the fact that she would put the hand to her face to talk, like, as a phone. But I think having it come up on the glass
yeah.
for, like, video, that was a really cool, like, futuristic vibe.
Yeah,
but
it was kind of like a night. It got me like it got me thinking of like a 90s vibe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but why would you have that technology when the streets are dank and dirty and
Yeah.
full of poverty? Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't fit to have
Yeah.
all of that. Like, I don't know.
I'm just glad that this was on Netflix, so I didn't have to pay money
Same.
for it.
I didn't pay for it. There was, so I want to jump back to Recall. I had a note on this. So it's a very, very different vibe from the first one. So when he walks into the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's a very clean, it almost looks very sterile, elite sort of place you go to. And even when he's going under, when he actually is sedated and gone under, the manager's talking to like this really rich woman, remember? So they make it out like this is a rich thing to do. But in the second one, they made it out as like it was on like the red light district street. He had to go through that to get there, and it was just dirty, dank. It looked like an old like Chinese brothel house, which I mean, it looked cool, but it just made it look really dank and dirty. And yeah, it didn't have the same vibe as what you would have got in the first one.
And I love Bryan Cranston. He's awesome. This didn't even make the movie. Having him in it didn't even.
Agreed. Also, another thing that I really disliked, back to having way too many people. So when he was in the Recall room, the scene where he took out everyone, that was BS. They flanked properly. As soon as he would have attacked one, the rest of them would have shot him.
Yeah.
And she was out to kill. She didn't care about her top order. She wanted to kill him. So for him to, they just made him way too like OP. As opposed to, it made it believable with Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's just a team of 5. All he had to do is just knock a few of them out.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's just way too many bad guys.
And even when Arnie had to kill Sharon Stone, you just felt like a bit of like a bit sad, even though she was evil. But you still felt like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had to kill Kate Beckinsale's character. I was like, she's evil. She's horrible.
Yeah.
I feel nothing for her.
I didn't feel anything when she died. Although there is one thing I did like about her character. And it makes the character of Douglas Quaid seem so much more important, because when you think about it, if you are going to put such a highly trained person full of really, really top secret things in this type of program, you would want to have a highly trained like soldier next to him. And I think that was a smart move by putting her in it, because she was trained, whereas Sharon Stone's character knew enough to get herself out of the way until like her partner came along. But I did like that they put, because it would make sense, you would want to have an actual trained operative there to watch him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was one thing I did like about the change. But I didn't like that they made her character and the main guy that was hunting him, they were one. They merged the two characters as one.
Yes.
Which was dumb.
I also put a note that even with an amazing cast, I was like, meh, and I really like Jessica Biel as an actress, especially after watching Sinner on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think she could have done so much better, but obviously,
I felt like her face was expressionless, even though she was trying to show fear
and literally, again, no chemistry between her and Colin at all. Like, you didn't believe that they were dating. You didn't believe that there was anything between them.
Yep.
And then, it didn't feel like that there was anything, and then at the end they're making out, and you're like, what? When did this happen?
Like, I knew it was implied throughout the whole thing, but
I didn't get that. I'm just like, cool.
No, I knew it was implied, because when he was in the house.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of got that vibe, but it just, I feel like this one was more chase and action, and it was ridiculous, because I love a good action film, but it was too much.
Yeah, and I actually have another note that this is a great movie if you want to turn your brain off and play Candy Crush.
Yeah, that could work. I like in the original, there was more espionage in it. Like, that's pretty much what he was. He was like a double agent. And I liked that there was espionage. Like, he had more scenes to try and hide from them. Like, he put the turban on.
Oh yeah,
to change.
I forgot about
he
that.
he was the woman in the
airport.
But in this one, he just hid until all the soldiers ran away. And
I mean, he did give his chip to The homeless person.
Yeah, it was the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that, but I did like, there was one Easter egg I loved.
The 3-bobed girl.
No.
She was in it. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
No, I liked when he was at the train station, there was the Asian guy in the back and he stopped and that's who he was. But the woman in front, I thought that guy was chasing the woman in front because it looked almost exactly like the woman he dressed as in the original, the red hair and the green outfit. And and I'm like, oh, they definitely put that in because, and I was expecting him to be that person.
Yeah.
But then when the other one's face like changed, I'm like, oh, that's smart. That it was to confuse the people who've already seen the original. Yeah. That was what was cool, that they did that little like hidden Easter egg.
So can I ask, how many are you done?
No. Okay. I think I still have more notes. I'm just reading through them now. I told you I had a lot on this. And I think it's because it took me so long to watch it. The more I watched it, the more I grew to hate it.
I was on struggle street for this one as well.
I definitely was. And I didn't know if you liked it or not because we made a rule this time not to talk about it until we actually started recording.
Yes.
Let me have a look at my notes. Oh, actually, this was one thing. I'm not a fan of the new face twist. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was him. It was his face.
Yeah.
But in this one, they changed. It was what was the guy? Was it Ethan Hawke? No. Who was the character? Who was he prior to getting his face changed? Huh? He was someone else, and then they're like, "Oh, this is my actual face." But you know, they did like a facial reconstruction for him when he went under and removed his memory. Remember when he put the piano key in and he was watching the video?
Are you talking about the original or the new one?
The new one.
Again, I struggled with this one.
Well, it was just an unnecessary thing to add. It's like, okay, we get it, that your whole identity is gone and wiped. Do you really have to do the whole face twist too?
Yeah.
You know, like, so, and then that whole scene actually in the house, dumb. It was not needed.
No.
It was just a very long, wasteful movie, and that scene was ridiculous. Like, why couldn't they have just done it all the same in the original? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he got the suitcase for him to pull the chip out all at once.
Yeah.
Watch the video of himself saying this is what is actually happening, and then he ran. Whereas this, you know, he took the phone out and then he managed to find another clue to get back to his house. And then at his house,
it was just
he
pointless.
Had to find the key, which was in the piano. He had to play the piano.
Yeah.
Just to watch that video. And I'm like, like, how many steps did that take just to do that one little scene that Arnold Schwarzenegger did?
Yeah. And I was expecting to have, especially after watching the original first, I was expecting to have at least like one or two one-liners, you know, to be like, an homage to the original.
Yeah. That's true. Like
even consider this a divorce. Boom. Like
something.
I was expecting something.
The only sort of thing that I really got from it was the Easter egg of the woman at the airport.
I got nothing.
Well, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I was expecting her face to, because it looked like the guy was hunting, like he had his eyes on that woman, and I'm like, oh my god, they know it's him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just unnecessarily long in certain areas.
But going back, I didn't realize it's only 2012 movie. I was expecting like early 2000s from the way that it looked and the acting and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't. It kind of like blew my mind that it was such. It's not that old.
Yes. I do have another point. I like the attitudes of the characters in the first one. So as we've discussed, Melina and the fake wife, like when Melina found out that he was married, she got so angry. But Jessica Biel didn't even seem fazed. No. She didn't even really react until she started shooting at her, and she just made that like one tiny comment of like, oh nah, like she's going down. And I'm like, okay, but you know, she made some pretty lewd comments.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to react?
Yeah.
I did actually think the driving cars were better in The Fifth Element. They looked better than they did in this scene. Like, they look like they move better. When did The Fifth Element, I'm going to quickly Google when it came out, just to compare for time, because I thought that they moved better in that movie than they did in this one. And it was a whole car chase with the 1997. That's when it came out.
Wow.
So from 1997, it looked better than 2012.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, the cars didn't even look like they moved well. like they seemed bumpy and
when they were when they were
in that whole car chase, like it just didn't seem as good. And I remember watching it thinking, man, The Fifth Element did this way better.
But when they like turned the engine off and that they were falling, I was like, I was expecting to be like on the edge of my seat. Oh, what's going to happen? And then I was like, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it
really
was
care.
Yeah, I definitely did not think it was like.
I mean, yes, I've seen it. And I can say that I've seen it, but I'll never, ever, ever...
Yeah, there is one other thing. Yeah. I do have to give it one positive.
Really?
And it's not even a big positive, because I do think the storyline in the original way better. They should have stuck to it. Didn't need all that action, but it did also seem scary that what they were fighting for in this one was space. And it's the fact that it was too overpopulated because they screwed the world up.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all fighting over, like, resources that they need. But they didn't execute it properly. Like,
No.
they could have made that a scarier thing like they did with the air. But it just didn't execute properly. They made you focus more on this army for control, not that the actual thing that they're after is resources.
Also, you know, the 1990 version, it was rated R. This one, PG-13.
Yeah,
so, like,
another big difference.
Another huge difference, I think.
In the original, do you remember when they tried to mess with him and they brought that doctor in?
Yes.
That was a believable mind twist. I even started to think, oh my God, like, but when they tried to do it with his friend, wasn't believable at all. And going back to the original scene where they killed that doctor, if they didn't kill him before he even went under, then it would have been a bit more believable.
Yeah.
But because we know he didn't get sedated, we knew he didn't get the recall memory.
Yeah, I know. And
the friend wasn't believable.
No.
At all.
No.
So they were all my notes. I told you I had a lot on that one.
I had a lot to say about this one because, like I said, the 1990, the original, is a classic and it's one of my favourites.
I think if you're going to remake it, do it as close to the original as you can.
Or do it completely different and call it something else. Like, this should have been called something completely different.
Yeah, I think so, because it doesn't really... The only thing that's the same from the original is that he was a spy, that his memory was erased, and it's just been re-unlocked. That's it. Everything else is different.
Yeah. So what do you rate this one?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
0.5 reels. It was so hard for me to watch.
Same. Like, half a star.
I wasn't even going to finish it, but I'm like, no, if I'm going to review movies, I need to watch the movies. And
yeah, see, I'm just like, if I
knew you didn't watch Ghost in the Shell, but I'm like, no, I'm going to watch this movie.
You're the better person than me, fine.
But that was bad. That was a waste of my time.
I think that was actually worse than Ghost in the Shell, and I didn't even finish Ghost in the Shell.
I love Ghost in the Shell.
The remake.
Oh no,
that's what I'm saying.
I actually think the remake of Ghost in the Shell, the live action film that everyone hates, was better than that.
Yeah. Well, what do you reckon this got on Rotten Tomatoes?
Okay, I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, good.
I'm going to guess 27.
You're very close, 31, which I was expecting a lot less than that, to be honest.
I feel like they don't do anything less than like 20. So I'm like, it's got to be around that point.
No, I recently saw that there were movies with 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. I feel like we should go through the 0% movies and watch them.
Oh, let's do that. Let's have a look to see what the 0 movies are.
And then we can put up like 3 0% movies on Rotten Tomatoes as a poll, and then we can get the listeners to pick what movie
0 we should watch. Movies. Okay, here we go. The list of the movies that got 0%.
They're going to be so bad.
Yeah.
Jaws the Revenge. Police Academy 4?
Police Academy 4 got
Highlander 2. Oh my God, guys, please
Google
this list.
Look who's talking now.
I think you need to Google the list. Are there any recent movies that got 0? National Lampoon's Gold Diggers. Huh?
True. The 3D Nutcracker that got 0% because it was terrible.
The newest one. No, that was like last year, I think.
No.
We will come back to this list later, I think.
Yes.
I think what we'll do is we'll dig for 3 movies, put a poll up, and see what you guys think we should watch out of the 0% movies.
Yes. Actually, I've got some fun facts.
Should we move? Fun facts about the movies?
About the movies.
Okay.
So let's look at some fun facts from the Total Recall. This is the original, though, the 1990.
Okay.
The movie was in development for over a decade. In 1976, fleeting screenwriters Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Brien teamed up to adapt Philip K. Dick's short story, We Can Remember. So, there you go.
I didn't know it was based off a short story.
Yeah, because when in the thingy it says based off the short story of...
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you pay attention to that.
Yeah. The Quaid Hauser character went through an image overhaul. Producer... At first, Arnold Schwarzenegger was turned down for being too manly.
What? He's like the epitome of manly.
To get the part, Arnold Schwarzenegger led another company to buy the movie.
He really wanted that role.
Arnold Schwarzenegger had an unusual amount of control over the production.
That's weird.
And the movie was originally rated X.
Wow.
Yes. All right, so...
should we move on to Nerdazon's Nerdy Notables?
Woo! Okay, I've got a lot to say.
I have a few things to say. I couldn't find a Penny Dreadful that was up to my standards. I did do my research, but I'm like, no,
Leave it for next month.
I'll wait for Halloween.
Yeah,
maybe.
Halloween.
Yeah, which we should probably say we are going to do a double Halloween special this year. So next month we're going to do a horror movie, and then in October we're going to do a horror movie.
I'm a bit excited, because
we should mention the movies at the end.
Okay,
we'll go over the other nerdy notables. Because you're going to go on a whole rant there, and I'm like, I'm going to just stop you.
Yeah, absolutely, because I will go on about these
what
movies.
We're going to go on.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so what nerdy notables have you got for us?
I'm super duper duper excited that the new trailer for Little Women just dropped.
Yeah, it does look really good.
It's got the internet's new boyfriend Timothée Chalamet in it. It's got Saoirse Ronan,
Emma Watson
with
Meryl
a horrible
Streep,
American accent.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I guess. And Meryl Streep.
She's my absolute favourite
and Bob
actress.
Odenkirk's in it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names in this one.
And I'm like so excited because this is one of my favourite books and movies growing up as a...
I feel like we should definitely do this one when it comes out.
Well, we have to wait till Christmas.
We could do book, then remake again. Book to movie, and then movie to remake.
Why not just do the remake of the movies?
Yeah, I have no time to read.
And also, again, with the Timothée Chalamet, the poster for his new Netflix original movie dropped as well, which we don't have a trailer for that, but that's called The King, and he plays King Henry V.
Yep.
And it's also got Twilight guy, what's his name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson and Joel Edgerton, and that looks like it's going to be a great movie.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that one. I didn't see that anything about that.
No, because all there is at the moment is
a poster.
I
do have to say I'm super, super excited. It was only like a 15-second video, but they released like a mini video / first look at the new Crown series, and it had Olivia Colman is playing the Queen Elizabeth in this one. So it just had her walking into frame, and she just looks so good. I can't wait until they release more shots of, because I think Helena Bonham Carter is going to play her sister. So
oh wow,
Margaret. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure her name's Margaret. Anyway, so she'll be playing it. So because, we followed for 2 seasons up to a certain point, they've got kids, but now it's like they're a bit older and sort of recent times, and I think it's going to be good.
And
it's such a good series.
And I showed you the trailer for Fleabag, which has got
it
Olivia
looks
Colman
so funny. She's so funny.
She plays a bitch so well. I'll just put those flowers down.
But she just has such a poshy accent. It doesn't even sound like she's being a cow.
I know.
Until she says it, and you're just like, what?
I know.
Did you actually just say that?
And I started watching Boys on Amazon.
I don't think I've seen an ad
It's
for it.
so good. It's so good. Violent as anything and gory, but it's...
I want to watch that new... There's a new superhero one.
Boys?
Is that it?
Yeah.
The one where they're like... Hang on, let me
No. It's Boys. I swear. It's on Amazon.
But there's girls in it. There's female superheroes.
Yeah, no, and then her name is called The Female.
Oh, yeah, that is it. Yeah. I do want to watch that.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's probably some other indie film. And then I'm like, I want to watch that new superhero one.
Yeah, no, it's so good, but it is very violent.
Which is okay. I don't mind this.
And it's very, got like a lot of profanity in it, but like the C-bombs dropped every second.
Gosh.
But it's also got, what's his name? Bring it back up. I love this guy. He's in Thor. He was in Lord of the Rings.
As who?
Carl Urban. I friggin' love Karl Urban. That's his name.
Can't believe we had to Google this.
And it took us way too long. Yeah. But it's also got Jack Quaid, who is Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's kid. I didn't realise that's his parents.
But it is something I want to watch, so I will get around to that. But let's move on. The new Mandalorian trailer has just dropped.
Yes.
I'm actually really keen to see this.
Yes.
I think it's going to look grimier and gorier for what Star Wars has brought. Even like that split second where, you know, he shuts the door while someone's half in it and chops him in half. Like that's just, it's going to be good, I think. And oh my God, I'm so fudging pumped that they finally did an Obi-Wan standalone film.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm like the fans have been wanting this for so long and now you're going to do it.
Yeah.
So they're two things I'm very keen for in upcoming.
I'm really excited that they're remaking Dune as well. That cast is going to be sick, and I don't want to wait till November 2020.
We're going to have to.
Sigh.
Life is hard. First world problems.
I know. Yeah, I don't really have much.
I think that's our update. Let's get to the double Halloween series that we're going to do. So next month, we're actually going to do Suspiria. This is Steph's pick.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
I definitely, I didn't realize it was a remake, but when I saw the new trailer a while ago, I love Tilda Swinton. So as soon as I saw that, I wanted to watch it. I didn't realize it was a remake until Steph's like, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you've got some different taste to me. So I watched it and I'm like, hang on a second. This is what I want to watch from the remake.
Yes.
So I'm very keen to give this one a go.
And I don't like scary much.
Yes.
But this is creepy.
Yeah.
But I liked it because I like the director, and then I was like, oh no, I fell down the Tilda Swinton hole. And then I was
she's
like,
so good.
Oh, yes. And then I was like, what is this? And then it was on Amazon, and I'm just like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I was like, oh, so good. And then I was talking to my friend about it, and she's like, you know that it's a remake? I'm like, no. And then we went and looked at and I was like, this is awesome. So we're going to do that. And then October, we're doing Your Choice.
So for Halloween, we're going to do Child's Play. Now, I was going to go and watch this, but for some reason, the cinemas in Sydney were only selected. There were only 4 cinemas, and it was outside of the city centre that had it. So I couldn't go and see it, weirdly enough. I don't know why they did that.
Is there like a new make of...
They did a new remake of Child's Play. It's the first time Chucky's voice has been changed from the original. The original was, I forget the first name, it's either Bob or Chris, but his surname's Dourif. I'm going to Google this now because it's going to bug me, and those horror fans out there are going to be shockingly upset that I forgot. So I was a bit unsure, but I think Mark Hamill will be a very good Brad Dourif, sorry. Correction, I apologize.
Yeah.
Brad Dourif. So this is the first time he's been replaced, but Mark Hamill's done it, and he does a really good voice acting. Yeah, so he did Chucky.
That's going to be awesome.
In the new one. So I'm very keen to see the two of them and redo them. So, and I love 80s horror flicks, so it's like my favorite genre.
Well, the original Suspiria is like 1974, so...
Well, 70s have great horror films too.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
I was actually... recently watching I'm really into watching like YouTube vlogs, and I've been watching a lot of like the Halloween festivals they'll do in America, like across Universal Studios or something like that, and then I was watching how they would do like their like horror mazes, and I'm like, I wish we did them here. But anyway, it made me realize they showed you all of them, from like Michael Myers, they did the Freddy vs. Jason, and then they did The Exorcist, and it made me sit back and think, that is a movie I don't think they could ever remake. It is... And
what is it?
The Exorcist.
They've remade The Exorcist.
Though they've done... I don't think they've remade it as a story, though.
Oh, no, they've made, like...
They've done, like, similar, like...
Yeah.
Like, hauntings and possessions, but I just think, like, that one, for its time...
One of my favourite comedians / other podcasters, Chris Hardwick, he is a massive horror fan.
I stand corrected. They did do a series.
Yeah, I told you.
It was shit, obviously, because it never came up on my radar.
Well, yeah. Like I said, my favorite comedian and podcaster, Chris Hardwick, he is a massive horror guy, and so is his wife.
They've done so many more on The Exorcist. Oh my God, how did I never see these?
Well, can you let me finish my bloody story?
No.
Okay. Anyway, he's like a massive horror fan and stuff, and he owns the original Exorcist doll.
Oh, that's freaky.
Yeah, and she's just and if you go on his Instagram, for Halloween he put like horns on her, and because they're into Disney as well, they put like the Disney ears and a Christmas hat.
But I still think so. It was 1973 when that one was done. I still think that movie holds to this day. Like the acting,
yes,
the makeup they did on her when she like got all green and her face was all cut. Like I still think the acting holds to this day, and I don't think now that I've googled that there's been spin-offs either as a TV show or they've tried to do like the beginning and things like that.
Yeah,
I still don't think they'll ever hold to that 1973 version. Like when you think of it now, they still show that her original face in costume in 1973. Yeah.
I think we should probably talk about this during the Halloween
we probably
special.
Should.
But one of my favorite horror movies that genuinely scared the living bejesus out of me, so much so that at the movies I screamed and my popcorn went everywhere and I had to put a hoodie on, and was what's the movie about the kid that goes into like a coma and then like people take over his body, and it's got like it's previous to Annabelle.
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. No, not The Conjuring. The other one.
I'm pretty sure The Conjuring started from the Annabelle series. The Annabelle series came from The Conjuring.
Maybe it was The Conjuring. Hold on, I'm sorry. This guy.
Yeah, because it started off with The Conjuring, and you briefly saw Annabelle, and then it went to The Conjuring.
Sorry, it was Insidious.
Oh, right. I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, Insidious is so good. It's like one of my favorite like scary movies.
I actually thought The Conjuring was good too.
The Conjuring, I've actually
Annabelle
seen that.
got crap.
Yeah,
I have to say.
I've seen.
I liked the Nun spin-off, but Annabelle, nah. Not so good.
I can't even see the trailer. I can't even see the picture of the nun. That freaks me out.
That was a good film. I actually thought that one was a good spin-off from that. But the Annabelle, I think they just went, oh, everyone found her the creepiest. We're going to go with that storyline sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think the Nun was a good spin-off. The Annabelle, nah, not so.
Yeah, I'm starting
to... And
the
story didn't match.
I'm starting to get a little bit more into scary movies, but I don't like...
I will watch some with you.
Yes. See, I'm not into, like...
The gore?
The gore.
I'm not really
I like more thrillers.
Yeah, I like thrillers and... I mean, I guess you could say slasher 80s, where it's just, like Michael Myers or Jason with machete. Like that sort. But I'm not really into the gore, like the Human Centipede.
I have a really funny
story
to tell you. So I went to Universal Studios with my mate, and they had like a show about special effects and stuff, and we were lining out the front to get in, and the ladies, like, anybody with the loudest scream, and I went, and I screamed really loud. She's like, all right, you're coming with me. So me and my mate went in, and we were part of the show. And what happened was that they, like, put my arm down, and they pretended to saw, and blood went everywhere, and I had to scream. And then, like, I was like, and then I felt like something was behind me, and I turned around, and it was some guy dressed as Mike Myers with the sword, like, with a knife in his hand. And I screamed so loud because I was petrified that, like, somebody's like, this. I've never seen you scream that much. Like, that is the loudest scream ever. And so... Yeah, my friend's got it on
I want to see this. I think they need to put it on the Facebook page so we can all see it now that you've told us all the story.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny that, like I had to, like, there was blood spurting everywhere.
You thought that was where you had to scream, but really the scream was behind you.
Yeah, and then they're like, come on, we'll take a selfie. So I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But we really should be wrapping it up.
Yes.
So next month for September, we're doing Suspiria, the original versus the remake. And then for October, we're going to do Child's Play 1 versus the remake.
Yes. And Suspiria, the new one, is on Amazon Prime at the moment.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that, and we will see you next month.
Also, if you like our show, please give us a like on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you could leave us a review, that'd be awesome so other people can check us out.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.